For this video today, we're going to be going over how to set up a good still life, as well as how to draw that, and then how we're going to draw that a few different ways from the same photo, inspired by different types of art movements. So first thing here, you have your paper. For this demo, I have a couple different ones. They're all the same size. These are the ones that you'll have. They're 11 by 7 or 11 by 14. A couple pencils here. You can use mechanical or you can use graphite. And then also you want to have your your photo of your still life. You might need to take a few different photos. So if you look at the top of the screen here, you'll have two different photos we'll look at, comparing one that is a good setup, which is the one on the left. So this is an ideal still life, and the one on the right is not. So we're going to look at those first. So if we're looking at the top right one or the right one, this is not a good setup because all the objects are on the same plane. They're all like right next to each other. Also, it's hard to tell how volumetric these are. So you can't tell if the book and the block, like how big they are, like how deep, or like what type of volume they actually have. A lot of these objects are all the same, so it's like a lot of like rectangle, 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 and a circle. They're different sizes, which is nice, but a paper doesn't have any volume to it. The block, I can't tell how deep it is. The magnet on the table is not very helpful. It's very thin and small. The only thing that sort of has as a form right now is the orange. So this is not an ideal setup. You want them to sort of be mixed around, again having a foreground, middle ground, and background for your design. So this would not be ideal. This is why I would suggest taking one or two, maybe three photos, just so you have some options to look at and just be like, oh yeah, this is not a good one, or this is a good one, and I'll go with that. Whereas we're looking at the left one, this is sort of an ideal situation for our still life, being that there is something closest to us, like the foreground, which is like somewhat the basket and the orange that's on the table. There's a middle ground, which is like the bananas, the book, and the dinosaur, and then there's stuff in the background, which is like the shoe and the block. And again, you want to have at least like 5 items so that you can determine the foreground, middle ground, and background, as well as having things at different heights, different sizes, different dimensions as well. So nothing here is one, like all the same object. There's some rectangles, some circles, there's some cubes, cylinders like for the shoe, and some other forms like the dinosaur. So this is a more interesting setup where there's a lot of different pieces, things that have negative space like the basket, things that are casting shadows as well. There's a lot of more shadows. I could tell how large the block is from here. I can tell that in the group of bananas, there's a couple of bananas that are closer to me blocking ones that are behind it, so it's different tones as well. Same thing with the oranges. There's a couple that are closer than the ones that are farther away. The Lincoln Logs towards the bottom are blocking each other even. They're not even just blocking the other objects, they're blocking each other, so there's like things that are overlapping. This is a very interesting still life to use compared to our right one, which is very plain and flat. So what we're going to use is the left one as our demo for today, and we're going to make that on the paper. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to make that once, and then I'm going to choose 3 or 4 different styles, and I'm going to reproduce that same drawing. The drawing might not be the exact same drawing. If I have to sort of embellish it in some format, say if I was doing Art Nouveau and I want to sort of add some patterning or designs, that would not be what I'd see like on a banana, but I would have to sort of embellish that myself and sort of take some artistic liberties with that. Or if I was going to do abstract, or if I was doing abstract, I might not see the entire banana, but I might be seeing a yellow blob or something along those lines, so it might not be exactly the same design. I would have like the right intentions. The pieces might be in the same area, but it's not going to look identical to like if I was taking a photo or drawing it to make it realism. Or another option would be if I was doing surrealism, maybe these things are not in the maybe like they have other features added to them, or they're drawn at different areas. That is also a possibility. So again, you're using these objects, but they might not be in the exact location if you're doing something that's a little bit more abstracted or surreal from your original drawing.